Michael Penn in Tokyo tells us about the division between the Japanese authorities and the public and about the situation when it comes to COVID-19 there.
Essentially, the government is on one track and the most of public opinion is on another track. There really isn't an intersection or meeting point between them. The government's position has been adamantine that the Olympics will be held, they'll be held on time, and there's no question about that. That's also been the position of the International Olympic Committee. At the same time, as you mentioned in the introduction, the Japanese public has defected at this point, with about 80% either saying they should be canceled altogether or certainly not held this summer. So essentially, there hasn't been any reconciliation between where the government is and where the public is. If there are Olympic events to be held, will any members of the public be able to physically go and see them? And this decision is pending. The government obviously would like to have limited numbers of people to see spectators to see the games, but they're delaying making a final decision on that. And it needs to be said that the COVID-19 pandemic, it's not just any time. Last week, more people died in Japan from the COVID than any week before in the entire pandemic. So we're really kind of at the very height of the disaster in terms of Japan's impact from COVID.
Michael, maybe just tell us a bit more about where indeed Japan is when it comes to COVID-19. I mean, are infections across the country, and where is the country in terms of vaccinations?
Well, yes. One thing that's very characteristic of this fourth wave is that a lot of the regional areas, which were somewhat less hit, are now suffering a lot of cases. So it's not simply in the big cities like Tokyo and Osaka. This is being driven a lot by COVID variants. In particular, the United Kingdom or Kent variant is circulating very strongly in Japan right now. As for vaccines, among developed countries, Japan is moving slower than any other country. At the moment, less than 5% of the public have even gotten one shot, which is much fewer than, say, the United States or Britain or most European countries.